Contrary to popular belief, improv is much more about reaction than it is about action. Most people I talk to and that have never tried improv in their life, they think that improvised theater is about what you do. But it's misleading. It's misleading, in my opinion, to think about improv theater about a craft where you have to come up with something, do something. You know, the typical observation I get from people who have never tried improv before is I couldn't do improv because I'm not funny. I'm not creative and stuff like that. All these kind of observations begin in a place of people thinking that they have to create, to fulfill some sort of standard. But that's very much not the case. Improv is about 99% is about how you react to what is already there. Typical improv situation, like typical improv setting. And it's you and your teammate and your scene partner, and you're playing a scene together. So you just walk in, lights come up, you just have the suggestion from the audience, you don't have anything else. So your brain can go two ways, and it's good at the beginning that you train your brain to go in the right way, in what in my opinion is the right way. And the way that I wouldn't suggest is probably thinking, okay, what should I do? Maybe you haven't even looked at your scene partner, or maybe you haven't even taken a moment to stay there and to check how you feel. Maybe you haven't taken a moment to explore and breathe what's around you, already think about what to do. And I wouldn't suggest you do that. Rather, what you could do is just stay, connect with the other person, look, listen, and I mean, when I say listen, I don't mean just with the ears. I mean, really try to feel what is the mood, what's going on. Try to look at your scene partner, how they're moving, how they look at you or don't. These kind of things, you know? And react to that. Of course, it takes a lot of training, because to be in pure reaction means that you are calm enough on an improv stage, which is a place where by definition you're miles outside of your comfort zone. You're calm enough to be able not to make your mind race and go like, oh, I should do this, I should come next, what comes next? If you don't do that, then your focus will be on reacting to what is going on in the scene in that moment. And when I say what is going on, I also mean what is going on inside you. Because you might find yourself having emotions that you didn't expect. And those are definitely worth exploring. You might find yourself moving in a certain way, and that's worth exploring. But completely, the point is, it shifts the focus to what you think you should be doing, which 99% of the time you shouldn't be, to you reacting to what's actually there. There's a cool exercise about that I learned in my first year of improv training. The person who at the time was my teacher, an Italian guy, very good. His name is Tiziano Storti. He made us do this exercise, and the exercise consisted in, so there are two people sitting on chairs doing nothing, and their rational effort should be do nothing, just watch the other person. At some point, even if you're actively trying to do nothing, someone will do something, will have maybe a slight movement, something will happen. Now, the other person has to pick up on that and make that the same thing a little bit bigger. And then the other person has to pick up on that and make that same thing a little bit bigger until it escalates and it becomes a mess. The point being that instead of thinking, what should I do? The question in your mind to be, what does this mean to me? And one of the big things that this approach does is that it takes a lot of pressure off. I think that at the beginning of your improv journey, especially at the beginning, all of your effort should be in the direction of taking that pressure and taking it out. So, if you know that in an improv scene you don't really have to do anything, you just have to react to what's already happening, that does take a lot of pressure off. And it's a good thing, because when the pressure is off, we're more spontaneous. And this thing is actually easier. It is easier because you have to do less things. And the ironic part is that for us, human beings, it's actually completely counterintuitive, and it's so counterintuitive that it becomes actually harder, because we are trained to be efficient, we are trained to be effective, we are trained to do the right thing and say the right thing, say the clever thing, and seek approval. And we have been trained doing this since we were little. And so, taking all of these things, taking them out, and just leaving us, just us, in a place, reacting to what's going on, becomes the hard thing, because we're not used to it. And so, big part of our training in the first year, for example, the first year of improv, is to rediscover the simple, let's say, which takes more work than you would think. So, if you have been following, now I have a quiz for you. Consider the following scenario. So, you're in an improv scene, and your scene partner comes in and says, sorry I was late, I've got to talk to you. Okay? That's the line that you're given. What do you do? What do you answer? So tell me, whatever you answered, chances are it's wrong. It's impossible to say until you're there. How could you possibly know now, while you're looking at this video and I'm cooking, what to do in that given scenario when you don't know anything about the scene? You don't know how this line has been given to you, with what voice, with what eyes, what is the feeling that you get out of this line? How do you feel in receiving this line? It's a theoretical scenario, doesn't make sense. So it happens to me that very often I get questions like in this, when this happens, what is the right thing to do? I don't know. How could I know? How could you know? How could anyone know? So to these questions I always give some very, very boring answers, which is improvise. When I was in Rome, I had this project where every other week I would do a two-prov show with a different improviser from Rome. And that project was called Reactions, because with every improviser we put together a different format, with just a couple of rehearsals, not a lot, and then we would perform. And some very, very interesting formats came out of there. You know, like a chemical reaction. When you put two elements that you don't know, you put them together and they react. And that's how it went. It's just nice. It's a nice metaphor for improv. I should do this again sometime here in Belgium. You know, when COVID is over. I have so many projects when COVID is over. So the lesson here is react more than you act, way more than you act. Listen more than you think, much more than you think. And just exist on the stage. You don't need to do anything else apart from existing. Existing is more than enough. And you're good to go.